Hello, my name is Ethan Whalen, and today I will be discussing the Vietnam-Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act of 1974, or VEVRAA, in a Pecha Kucha style. I chose to discuss the VEVRAA because I found the topic to be interesting and important in protecting veterans' rights in the workplace. The Vietnam-Era Veterans Readjustment Assistance Act, or VEVRAA, was passed in 1974 and was aimed to assist returning Vietnam veterans and to protect against discrimination in the workforce. Currently, it is one of two federal laws prohibiting discrimination against veterans in the workplace. The Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, or USERRA, is the other federal law protecting veterans. The USERRA was passed in 1994, and like the VEVRAA, the goal of this act is to protect veterans. However, there are some differences between the two acts. All United States employers must comply with the USERRA, whereas only federal contractors and subcontractors must comply with the VEVRAA. The Department of Labor enforces the USERRA, whereas the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs enforces the VEVRAA. The OFCCP is part of the Department of Labor and focuses on employers who conduct business with the federal government to make sure that employers are following the laws and regulations to avoid workplace discrimination. The OFCCP enforces Executive Order 11246 as well as the VEVRAA. The VEVRAA exists to protect veterans with and without disabilities against discrimination in the workforce. The employment rate of disabled veterans is significantly lower than the employment rate of veterans who are not disabled. About 1/3 of disabled veterans are in the workforce, compared to about 3/4 of veterans without disabilities. The VEVRAA covers all veterans, not just Vietnam veterans. This act also protects the employment rights of protected veterans. These protected veterans are considered either disabled veterans, recently separated veterans, active wartime or campaign veterans, campaign badge veterans, or Armed Forces Service Medal veterans. Disabled veterans are veterans who are either entitled to compensation under laws administered by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, or those who are released from active duty because of a service-connected disability. In the case of a service-connected disability, it must clearly be documented in an official record. Recently separated veterans are veterans who have been discharged or released from active duty within a 3-year period starting on the date of the veteran's discharge or release. These veterans can be from either United States military, ground, naval, or air service. Veterans who are dishonorably discharged are not considered recently separated veterans. Active duty wartime or campaign badge veterans are veterans who have served in the United States military, ground, naval, or air service during a war or served on active duty in a campaign or expedition in which a campaign badge was authorized under the laws administered by the Department of Defense. Armed Forces Service Medal veterans are veterans who have served on active duty in the United States military, ground, naval, or air service, and participated in a United States military operation in which an Armed Forces Service Medal was awarded pursuant to Executive Order 12985. The VEVRAA covers employers if the federal contract/subcontract is worth $150,000 or more. If a contract is worth under $150,000, or if the contract is for indefinite quantities where the agency determines the cost in any 1 year will not exceed $150,000, then the contract is not covered by the VEVRAA. To follow the VEVRAA guidelines, employers are required to set a benchmark, invite voluntary self-identification, comply with OFCCP reviews, track the effectiveness of veteran recruiting and hiring efforts, provide access to job listings, and to communicate to subcontractors. Each employer should have a goal to hire a certain amount of veterans. To set this benchmark, employers must either adopt the benchmark based on the national percentage of veterans currently in the workforce, or create an individualized benchmark based on their own interpretation of the best available data nationally and within their region. Employers must allow veterans to voluntarily self-identify as protected veteran. Veterans will be provided with different examples of protected veterans and will be asked if they identify as protected veteran under the VEVRAA. Veterans will also be asked which group of protected veterans they identify with. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs has the right to conduct on-site and off-site reviews. Employers must comply with the OFCCP with access to their documents. The OFCCP also has the right to increase the length of an audit beyond the original set time frame if it is considered necessary to complete their investigation. To comply with VEVRAA, employers need to report the number of protected veterans who applied for jobs, the total number of job openings and jobs filled, the total number of applicants for all jobs, the number of protected veterans applicants hired, and the total number of applicants hired. Job listings must be provided in a format that can be used by Veterans Employment Service Delivery Systems, or ESDS. If the ESDS requires electronic transmission through the use of the internet, then the employer must provide the job listings this way. The job listings provided to ESDS must identify the employer as a federal contractor. Employers must follow mandated language in a federal contract and subcontracts outlined in the VEVRAA. These contracts are used to communicate the employer's obligations to employ and promote protected veterans. The language used must be bolded to avoid any miscommunication whatsoever. The VEVRAA protects the employment rights of veterans who are considered either disabled, recently separated, active duty wartime or campaign badge veterans, or Armed Forces Service Medal veterans. The OFCCP enforces VEVRAA to make sure employers who are engaged in federal contracts follow VEVRAA guidelines. Thank you.